first of 4 Ideathons every Thursday, 6 o'clock. We'll be just kind of going over the grant and just giving you information on that. So one thing I neglected to say last time, the total amount that we have is $50,000, which is really exciting. So hopefully people are excited to you know, learn more about that. So I had just like something funny about that money.
Cue the drum roll. All right, open your boxes. Open your boxes. 1, 2, 3.
So exciting, but $50,000, you cannot apply for $50,000. So just want to put that out there at the beginning of this video. So if that's what you were thinking, go ahead and log off now. So the application amount, how much can you apply for? You apply for the amount that you need to complete your project. The projects may, you know, require more money depending on the materials that they're looking for the duration of time. But, you know, $49,999, stuff like that, you know, those will be deemed ineligible and we won't even take a look at them. So just want to get that out the way. So what makes you eligible for this grant? So first thing, we do have a minimum. You have to request at least $250 for your art project. It has to take place in and directly impact the residents of Highland Park. So the grant time period towards the bottom you can see is June 1st through December 1st. So we're hoping at that time we'll be able to move forward with activities actually taking place physically in Highland Park, but we don't know. So just be creative when you're thinking about how it can impact the residents directly of Highland Park. It must involve the arts in some way and engage the community in arts and culture. So that can include like a product that you want to create or a program. So really we're looking for applicants to be creative. And there's no limit on the types of art. So we've had a few different disciplines apply. So just keep that in mind. We have some information on here about a match. Now most grants, this grant is kind of like a preparation grant. So people who have applied for our grant have gone on to apply for Kresge, they've gone on to apply for Night Arts, and just, you know, other bigger funders and other opportunities. And what we would like to do is to get people prepared, you know, kind of coaching, providing professional development and access. So we do ask for a match, but it can be cash or in kind. So new applicants or people who have applied in the past but did not receive funding, they can apply again and their match will still be 25%. If you've applied in the past and were funded once, your match will be 50%. And if you've applied in the past and were funded twice, your match will be 75%. Again, that's cash or in kind. And if you have any questions about that at any time throughout your process, you know, we just ask for you to reach out to us and we'll do our best to support you. So past projects, I kind of got into that, 2018 and 2019. I just wanted to kind of go over these and thank those that participated in the past. So we've had Legacy of Literacy, and Legacy of Literacy is a really cool program that obviously encourages literacy in Highland Park. They work with students in Detroit and in Highland Park, and they had a program that paired up with the music festival, the Highland Park Business Association Music Festival, and students were able to, or kids, I should say, not necessarily students, but different activities they could participate in as they, you know, would either read a book or, you know, decide to keep a book. So they have really kind of cool stuff. Lucy Fry supported Nandi's Knowledge Cafe, and she created kind of an art walk, art trail that led up to Nandi's Knowledge Cafe. William Marcellus Armstrong and Jeff Harris recreated the new dance show. So they're both artists, but they paired up together to find a way to recreate this dance show. So it actually was more media arts heavy rather than the dance portion of it, because they had to learn about production. They found ways to incorporate it with the community. So it had a lot of different layers to it. And McDonald Phelps put on an Art in the Park summer arts program. So that was a longer running program, and it allowed kids basically to participate in an art camp throughout the summer. In 2019, last year, one of our participants was Angela Lugo Thomas, and she did a dance instruction project at Boys and Girls Club, a ribbon dance instruction. So it was very cool. I actually do have a video. I might show that towards the end. Avalon Village also had a music camp. So they taught kids how to DJ. They actually brought in live musicians to work with the kids. Carl Williams was a business owner. He was not an artist at all, but he had an idea to put in a really cool mural on one of his properties. And the property was about transitional housing. So there's the community benefit. And he also had a new restaurant as well that was right next door to this transitional housing. And so we were able to pair him up with an artist to create a beautiful mural. And Detroit Repertory Theater put on a summer arts festival, and they engaged artists from Highland Park to attend. So these are the projects that happened. Some of them had some variations to them, but that just goes to the fact that we are flexible. We do understand that life happens. Life is happening all around us right now as we shelter in our homes and stay safe and stay at home. But because of that, we just want to assure you that we are as creative, or we try to be as creative as you are with, finding ways to get your project to work. So why now and why us? Community Heart was an original program of ArtOps. It was a multi-year project. It started off as just a 2-year project of kind of research, and then we did this 1 year of this regrant. But after doing the 1 year of the regrant, we found that there were still more things that we could do to support the community. And because of that, the funder, which is the Erb Family Foundation, supported us for an additional 3 years. We are now in the 2nd year of this 3-year extension. So ArtOps, to give a little bit of a background, ArtOps is created as like a shared collaborative arts management service. So years ago, there were several arts organizations that decided we could do more if we share our administrative services. And that kind of shared model was picked up by other arts organizations, and eventually it spun off into its own organization, which is now called ArtOps. So we offer management services, which can include development, help with grant writing, as well as operations, meaning putting on events, ticket sales, all the things that go along with performing arts organizations and keeping them running, basically is a service that we can help offer, at least point you to someone if we don't offer that particular service. So the Community Heart Highland Park program basically allows us to take all the services that we provide for our paid clients, which were based in Southfield, Michigan, and now we're able to translate them and transfer them and offer them and bring access to artists and residents in Highland Park. And that's, again, through the Erb Family Foundation. And so here's our team. I'm this one, Janelle, that's talking the most right now. So I'm what's called the Community Engagement Officer, which means that basically I do talk a lot, but also listen. So if you have problems or curiosities about applying, you want to know about project development, collaboration, well, that's something that we've really emphasized in the past. because people can apply and get, you know, a full amount, and we don't have a set amount that people ask for other than the $250, we encourage people to kind of stretch their dollar and, you know, broaden their impacts by pairing up with another artist. So if, for instance, if we talk about Jeff and Marcellus, Marcellus had a vision to do, you know, kind of like this dance, you know, revamping of the new dance show. And Jeff really wanted something that could kind of engage with kids, and give them some place to go and give them something fun to do. There aren't any dance halls, things like that. So these two gentlemen had never met before. They met at an Ideathon, which we're having now. And so this Ideathon, these two gentlemen were able to meet and find a way to collaborate and share their ideas. And it worked out. Marcellus was kind of busy during the day, and Jeff's schedule was more flexible. So Jeff could kind of run some of the errands during the day, and Marcellus could kind of lead some of the artistic creation projects. So they were a great match. And actually their project went on to be picked up by, they were like kind of finalists for Night Arts Challenge, and then they also eventually their project was picked up by the DSO. So it was a very cool project. So that's what collaboration is. Budgeting and match requirements. So if you have any questions about how to create your budget, you can reach out to me, or you have questions about the match. You know, does this count as in-kind? Yes or no, I can help you with that, or just general questions. Anne Ruffley, my colleague, she's the director of institutional giving, and she's there for more like tech support, specifically about the application itself. So once you come in and you have looked at the grant, which we will go actually to that page, once you're looking at the grant and you want to upload your application, and you have kind of questions, or it's not working, or whatever is going on, you can reach out to her. You can reach out to me as well, but she's a good support person for that because she built that. So she's a great person to ask about questions about the application itself. Also, again, with budgeting and match requirements, and because she's our director of institutional giving, she handles all of our grants. So she definitely can help you kind of work the budget and the budget sheet, and also general inquiries. And Maury Oken is our executive director. Maury, you will be reaching out to myself or to Anne, but he is available to kind of help with, budgeting questions, match requirements, and also ideas about collaboration and like how to work through difficulties if you kind of pair up with somebody maybe you haven't worked with before. So he can definitely assist with that. And so the grant, so let's go ahead and go to our website. You'll see this website link on a few different places and some emails. You'll see it on Facebook. So we just want to kind of go to this link here and take a look. So this is our page. This is our Community Heart Highland Park page. And just for a quick second, I'm gonna get something to drink. Excuse me. But just to kind of talk about who these people are in this picture. When ArtOps expanded the Community Heart program and asked for that extension from Erb, it went on to create something called the Highland Park Arts and Cultural Council. So all this cool stuff that ArtOps have been providing for the community, programming, professional development, and all that good stuff, we know that our grant will come to an end. And when that grant comes to an end, we want the program to continue. And we decided to pair up with Highland Park Business Association to actually create Highland Park Arts and Cultural Council as an arm of the Business Association. The Business Association is not tied to a municipality, and it doesn't have any political affiliations. It's a neutral third party, as we are. And because of that neutralness, if you will, and they also handle the arts, the music festival in the summer. So because of that, they were kind of the perfect partner, if you will, to help us, kind of transfer knowledge over to them. And the Highland Park Business Association is made up of various business owners throughout Highland Park. and businesses that support Highland Park or are based there. But the council is made up of, at this time, 10 members of the community. So there's some business owners on it, but they're mostly artists. Most of these people in this picture are artists, or they are residents of Highland Park. So they have a vested interest in the city, and they'll be there even when we leave. So that is why ArtOps at this time is more focused, and we're, you know, kind of wording ourselves and creating our narration that we are partnering with them, because that's what we're doing. Next year, they will be definitely more at the forefront of this regranting process, as well as some of the other activities that they offer. So I can talk about that another time, but here we have a list of people who have received the grant so far over the past 2 years. And this is our 3rd year of the 2020, of the re-grant for 2020. So we have a cool flyer, which I'm going to show you because I worked really hard on it. And also our former intern, Cameron Jenkins, created it for us. And so it just has a few links on there. You can get right back to that same page, just the basics. So if you have not received this flyer, you can feel free to download it, or just copy this link here and share it with anyone. So the basics of the grant. The day it opened was March 19th, and due to some technical issues, we actually extended the application deadline to include another weekend. So the grant will be due April 20th, hard stop at 11:59. We were hoping to, you know, have people drop them off in person, but we're still to be determined on that. But you will be able to upload your grant, and you will be able to email it. The project that you want to do has to occur between June 1st and December 1st. So you have basically almost 6 months to get whatever project or product that you're creating done. This is about the Ideathons that we're in now, one every Thursday. And you can sign up or tell other people to sign up here through the Eventbrite. We've talked about the matching requirements, so let's get into the application materials. We have 2 versions of the application, one for individuals and one for organizations. So let's click on the individual one. Let's open that up. It's actually a Word document that you can type inside of, and we will enable editing. And so when I get in here, see, I have everybody's logo. That's Highland Park Business Association. I can type in my name. I'm Janelle. I live in Detroit, Metro Detroit. I'll put my phone number on here. I have an email address, my website. I'm over 18. Yes, I am. And my social media handles. What's my artistic discipline? I'm actually a painter, not a painter, a painter. I did not receive funds last year. And then I would put in my bio. I go here to my project title. I can talk about the artistic disciplines of the project. So this comes into play if you're collaborating. So I'm a painter, but say I want to collaborate with a dancer, then I would, you know, probably list those things. This is going to be a live painting of a dancer or something like that. How much am I requesting? Well, I would need to pay the dancer. I have to pay myself for my time. I have to buy materials. So let's say all of those things would be about, you know, $2,000. I will tell you this, as far as an average for grants, they range between $1,000 and $5,000. So not everyone gets all of what they ask for, but they get a significant amount. We try to be thoughtful, and we definitely understand kind of what's going on now with you know, everyone that's doing performing arts is kind of on hold, especially financially. So we definitely understand that. So it's a case-by-case thing. So shoot your shot, and we'll let you know if you made it. So we start the date and the end date of the project. Is this a new project, or is this something ongoing? This is not a negative or a positive. It may just be that you have a project that you've been working on and you want to complete it. And you need some assistance, or you have something new that you're cooking up and you want to try it out. how many people do you expect will participate in this or experience this project? So you can list that there. And then you want to explain that number that you came up with. So if you say there's 250 people that are going to be experiencing this, then you need to kind of explain why. Or if you say there's only one person that's going to experience this painting, you definitely want to let people know. And how many people will benefit from your project, and how many will be under the age of 18. So say I'm doing a painting of a dancer, a live paint in a school. So that would be more than 250 people, and they will all be 200, like, 200 of them would be all under the age of 18. If it impacts youth, we just want to know this question. We are not requiring nor encouraging people to do youth-focused projects. However, there is a need in Highland Park for youth-based arts programs, and there are organizations that are interested in maybe collaborating with you. So if you have kind of a youth-based arts program, but you don't know any youth in Highland Park, reach out to us. There are several organizations that are interested in learning more about your programming. So the narrative, project description, the who, what, where, when, and how of my project. So who, it would be myself, it would be a dancer. What, it would be a live painting. Where, it would be, and this is, barring all present circumstances, in a school. When, it would take place at the end of the school year, and how we would set it up in an auditorium. And then we would just kind of get into more description about what we're, doing in the actual project. And why is this project important to do right now? It's relevant right now because we want to work on children's increasing their self-esteem on body image. So it's important for kids to be able to see, a positive light cast on a beautiful body or something like that. Just like I'm on some random, but you know what I'm trying to say? You're trying to tie it to why is it important. We don't want to talk about something that's not really relevant, right? And the more relevant and relatable basically your project is, the more likely that the panel will review it. And I just want to stop here and insert that this grant, myself and Anne will kind of be coaching you and telling you that sounds like a good idea, that sounds like you can, improve it a little bit or bring it out more. And because we're so involved with you creating the project, we do not judge the projects. There's a separate panel, anonymous panel that, and they're made up of some people in Highland Park and other professionals in the arts and in the grant world. And they will review your project based on the requirements, which are the artistic merit of the project and the benefit to the community of Highland Park. So they're going to be judging based on those criteria and making recommendations about, yes, this project should be funded or not. So we don't always get all the ones that we would want funded. So just know that we're kind of like an advocate for you in the room as they're reviewing your application. So partnerships. So here's where I would list that dancer. I would probably list the school, excuse me, that I would be in. And I would have to say here, yes, I've talked to the dancer, but no, I haven't talked to the school yet. So that's where you would list that. And you can have several, obviously we have all these blocks here. You can list a bunch of people. Is there anything else that you would like the panel to know in considering your application? So, this is where I can kind of put in my own story. I can make one last pitch about why this work is important. I can talk about the importance of the dancer. I can say maybe I have a connection to the students. I can talk about a personal, anecdote or experience. So we give you one last chance to kind of pitch that. This is where we get into the budget here. The budget worksheet, which we'll go back and look at on the website, tells us to list our project expenses. So that, like I said, will include materials, space rental, marketing, printing costs, and all the things that we would need to actually complete the project, right? Not just get started. We want to have this finished and experienced, right? So we want to think about that. Here is some description about the match, which you probably will come back to several times throughout the cycle of the grant. So one of the things that will come up for me as a new grantee, and I'm looking to do this in a school, maybe the school charges normally for someone to use their gym, but because it's going to benefit their students, they give me the space. And so that's considered an in-kind space. Or the dancer, instead of being, instead of me, you know, or she, you know, instead of me paying her, excuse me, her or him, then maybe the dancer decides to gift their dance fees to me, right? Or gift it to the project. So that would count as an in-kind match, basically something that you normally would pay for, but you get it at no cost or low cost, right? Or cash would be someone, you know, actually purchasing something for us or just giving us a donation, which nonprofits are always open for donations. Here's a tip, and we'll probably next time when we do this next week, I'll probably have Ann talk about this a little bit more, but the budget must balance. So the total revenue and your total expenses, those things have to balance. So I will definitely let Ann kind of get into this more as people kind of start, you know, really working on their ideas right now. So the timeline is required. We need to know, and this is, you know, we are going to be flexible for sure on this, because normally you would say, okay, by June I'm doing this, July I'm doing that. Right now we don't know what we'll be doing in June or July. We hope that we will be doing wonderful art things out in the community, but we definitely will be flexible, but we want at least to have a projection or a draft of what your timeline is. This year, I think we'll be extremely flexible on that. Budget is required. We won't be flexible on that. We need to know what you want to spend the money on. But there is flexibility once the project is funded, as far as, you know, certain things that you thought you might have. Maybe the dancer you picked decides to move out of town, things like that. And work samples, they aren't required, but they're definitely encouraged. If you've done this work before, we would like to see that. But we also are trying to encourage new projects. So if there's something new you've never done, or like myself, I'm a painter, and you know, maybe I decide to get up there and start dancing or something, I won't have a work sample of that. So I don't want to, you know, limit people. We don't want to limit people. And I, as an artist, you know, want to be encouraged to explore, you know, maybe a different discipline or a different technique or project or something. Signature, kind of self-explanatory. Evaluation, we ask about how you heard about us. Was this easy or hard to fill out? How long did it take you? And then again, this is our contact information, and we actually need to change that date on there because it's the 20th. So don't save that. And so we go back, and so this is the timeline worksheet that we mentioned before. We'll just open it up and take a look at it. So all this stuff, because this is Word, you know, you can delete what you need or add to whatever you don't need. So don't feel confined to the bars that we have here. If you need to, you know, as long as you have basic format, we're fine. We're not married to this particular form, right? But yeah, we need to know about, you know, this is just kind of a sample of activities, which is pretty self-explanatory, but I will definitely be available to go over it again, because like I said, this is an interesting, flexible time. So we got to be flexible in times like these. The budget worksheet, here we go. So the budget worksheet, this is what Ann was describing here as far as flexibility, the request amount, other funding sources, so matching funds. So, you know, like I said, it's cash or in kind. Most grants are, they will have you put in some sort of cash, but we are trying to be accessible and kind of, you know, give people opportunity. If you've never written a grant before, this is a great grant to apply for because you do have the professional support, judgment-free zone, and you know, we'll stumble through it with you, if this is what you want to do. Other funding sources listed below. So maybe you have someone else giving you money, or maybe you have a night grant that you're, working with, or something else. Expenses. So you would list, costumes and canvas and paint and, all those different things. Even the fees for the other artists might be listed here as well. And it needs to make sense when you get down to the bottom. So let's see here. This is just a quick hit on the application for non-individuals, just so you can take a look at it. So organization name, federal ID, project title, and it kind of gets into the same bit about your biography, all the artists that are involved, this project description, so forth and so on. One of the things that we do want to talk about, if you have limited access to the internet, or you're just having a hard time downloading and stuff like that, let us know, and we'll kind of brainstorm with you about how to get your application done. Do not wait until April 19th at 11:53. That's not a good look. So just know that. This is how we do it online. So if you were filling this out without downloading it, which is kind of nice, because then you don't have to worry about emailing, kind of a huge file. You just, decide what you want. This is an individual. This is the organization name, and did a very great job on this. Put your phone number, board chair. This is obviously the organizational version. Your federal ID number, your mission statement. Just the same questions as we had on the other one. But it's nice because you can fill it out. The other thing too, I believe that we took off the limit for how much text you can put in there. So you can, freely kind of describe what you're doing, but try your best to be succinct, so that the idea that you have can be easily conveyed. Because even though you may speak with myself or with Anne or with another staff member, to kind of explain yourself, when it's gone before the panel, they've never heard of you. Usually they've never, they don't have anything other than what you're presenting before them. So you want to be as clear as possible when you're sharing and conveying your ideas to them. So that's that. And these are our email addresses if you have any questions. And it's just some more cool pictures from some activities in Highland Park. So let me go back to the slideshow. So questions, I haven't looked in the chat at all to see, no one has put any questions in the chat. But if you want to ask me any questions now, this is a great time. I was actually going to upload the flyer in here too. That's right, yeah. Just so that it can be in the chat and people can have that. So that's definitely available for everyone. So I'll give you a few seconds to think about that if you have any questions, and then I will continue, because it's not much more I need to say. Okay, that was a nice long pause. So I'm trying to think of some frequently asked, oh, look at me rushing, I didn't even finish this part. But I'm trying to think of some, kind of general questions people might have. One thing I wanted to encourage everyone to do is to take a look at the Highland Park Facebook page. I don't know, it's kind of dangerous going on your Facebook page live. Maybe I won't do that. But yeah, if anyone has any questions, if you're interested in testimonials from last year, we definitely can get all that information to you. But I did say it would be a half hour, and I'm just running over that a little bit just because I have some technical difficulties. But I thank you so much for your patience. I'm gonna do my best to, oh, wait, there's something up here. There's something on the chat. Can I apply if I don't live in Highland Park, but want to do a project there? Yes, Thank you very much, Ann, roughly. So you do not have to be a resident of Highland Park. You just have to be interested in doing work with the residents there in Highland Park. I do not live in the city of Detroit, and if I, of course, I wouldn't apply, but if I wanted to apply for that kind of arts programming, I live outside of the city of Highland Park, outside the city of Detroit. Yes, you can. And I think it's very relevant now because we're extremely connected through social media and other platforms, even right now. So if you lived out of state, but you thought, man, I have this great music program and I would love to do XYZ, with students in Highland Park or, seniors, what I encourage everyone to do is kind of look at the demographics of Highland Park, look at who lives there, look and try to see some of their interests, and find and shape your project that you want to do kind of based around what would, be most beneficial to the most people in the city and just kind of go from there. Yes, we have funded everything and we try to fund everything. We haven't funded, what haven't we funded? Comedy, that's one thing. We have not funded a comedian just yet, but I definitely need a good laugh. So if there's any comedians, that's an artistic, sorry, that's really people wilding out. Anyway, but that's definitely something that could be available. Really it's just your pitch. And the thing is that your pitch will be written. So if there's any kind of concerns that you might have about typing, about writing, definitely reach out to us because we're open to making it accessible for all. But it definitely has to have artistic merit. And like I said, it has to benefit the residents. That's really, really what we're looking for. So we really, we're excited about it. We wanted to go forward during this time. And, when a lot of other things are kind of being canceled and postponed, we have it to go forward. And as far as if you're not a strong writer, the panel is looking, like she said, the panel is looking for more at the idea and the mechanics of the grant. You don't have to be, you don't have to write soliloquies, right? Or be a technical writer. As long as you convey your idea, you write it how, you want to write it. So as long as when I, am I a panelist and I'm reading it and I can understand they want to do this, that's definitely what you're looking for. And we can review it. That's part of what the Ideathons are about. We have one scheduled. The application is due on Monday. And the last Ideathon is actually the Thursday before. So we can, actually physically read it. Myself and Ann can actually read it and take a look at it and say, maybe word the sentence differently, or what did you mean by that? Or, your budget isn't on point. What do you think about this timeline? How are you going to do this? You want to do this really cool thing, but, do you know how to do that? So what's the feasibility of this grant? So that's definitely something that we're looking forward to telling everyone about. But like I said, I thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. Oh, thank you. And like I said, this is going to be recorded. It is being recorded. So I'm going to edit it a little bit and post it onto Facebook. Is that somebody on there?
Hi, this is Kim McDade. How are you guys?
Hi, Miss Kim. Good.
Yes. I think I kind of heard you say, like, in the last 2 years when WHPR applied for the grant, we kind of targeted the youth, but you mentioned that maybe if we kind of find out what are some of the other interests. So what I was wondering is, could the participants be adults or seniors, or is it?
Yeah, definitely. That's just gonna say, like, we had So one of our previous applicants, we actually only had one applicant that did stuff for seniors, but the demographic for, or the population of Highland Park is 60% what will be considered senior, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you have something where, you want to pitch an idea about maybe doing the same program that you did before, but with adults or with, seniors, like a different, whatever that might look like, a different skill set or update, or, a club, radio show club or something. I don't know. Yeah, definitely look into that. That
Okay.
would be awesome. That's a great idea.
Okay, I'll talk to them at the station and see what their thoughts are. Okay.
Yeah, and I definitely have contacts for senior centers if you don't already.
Okay.
So we have, if that's what you're leaning towards, you don't have to do it with seniors. If it could just be middle-aged people like myself.
Right, that's what I was thinking, because a lot of times the last 2 years when we've had it, when the parents have dropped off or picked up their kids, they say, well, we want to learn too. So it kind of made me think, well, I wonder if we should open it up to adults or seniors, or,
It would be something really useful, because a lot of people, even myself now, like podcasts are really popular. So that's
Yeah.
why, that question about why would you do this now? That would kind of go, that explanation would go under there, right?
Okay, yeah.
And Angela Lugo Thomas, who did the ribbon dancing, one of the things that came up for her was, people are watching their kids dance and stuff, like this Olympic dancing, with ribbons, and people are like, well, I want to do that too, so she's going to add some adult classes. So,
Okay.
it opens up the opportunity for artists, and that's really what we're looking to do. This is kind of the first door open, excuse me, but this is like the first open door, and then, just keep walking through it and see what else comes up.
Okay, sounds great.
Okay, well, thank you so much for for joining me as I sit in my living room and talk off into space.
I hear you. Yeah, this is cool. I like them. This is a good meeting.
Awesome. Well, we'll definitely be ready for next week. So anything in particular that since you're, listening on live, you can have first pick, I guess, of what you maybe want to know about for next time.
Let me see. Know about as far as how the grant, how do you write the grant?
Yeah, or anything that was challenging that you might need some help with. So I was thinking we could just kind of more focus on like the budget part, and really get like deep into budgeting, and just, help people kind of assuage some of their fears about that, and, all that stuff about the match. So we might, kind of focus into that next time. But if you had anything else, that maybe came up, or if you think of over the course of the week, just reach out, email me, and I will, I'll share that.
Okay, sounds good. I'll do that.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. Like I said, I'm gonna get off of here and go through the fight of figuring out how to save the recording and then upload it. And hopefully it won't be too late tonight when I actually post it. But thank you again for joining, and you ladies have a good night.